with every iteration that you take in this agile software development process.
For example, we need 10 more fields on the order form.
Yeah. We need to cover one more department or one more business case, one more business process.
Or one level of approval
Yes.
that we forgot about.
Or, another set of details in the permission management system, right? So every time you complete a new iteration of an agile software development process, not only do you get more features generally, but it means you have more code. Mm-hmm. What's happening here is that the surface area, you kind of think of it as the surface area is expanding of this entire application, right? You start with no lines of code written, right?
And then, no user data.
Yeah, like you start with no code, no data, and then the existing surface area at the beginning is 0. And so with the first iteration, right, your ability to expand the surface area is high, right? You could expand the surface area very quickly at the beginning. But every time the surface area of your existing app is increasing, right? Now you go to plan the next iteration.
And it introduces something that we call dependencies.
Yes, exactly. So now let's say you want to add a new field. And an example of a field might be, say, an order ID or the name of a customer, right? So now you want to add a new field to the system. Well, because the surface area is already large after you've completed several iterations.
For example, we have reports, we have auto-generated emails, we have approval workflows.
Yeah, like permission management, reporting.
Yeah.
So now as the surface area is increasing, every change to the system has more dependencies that are affected by that change. And so the total amount of work required to introduce a new update into the system
is exponentially larger.
Yes, and it
For
grows
example,
exponentially. Yes.
I need to add this new field to every report. I needed to add it to every single new email that we generate in the system. It actually turns out that it affects the approval workflow, because if this field is A, then it goes to this manager, versus if this field is B, it goes to the other manager. And that, let's say we're in week 20 of the project, that's still not a big deal. Multiply this, go think about now year 3 of the project, which you've succeeded tremendously by the time you're in year 3. And now these little tasks add up, and this task that would have been a 2-man day change in sprint 2 is now the entire development team, which has grown to 15, including testers, and is now a 2-week change and requires the user interface to be updated on 16 different screens, and requires the APIs that you have generated to be updated, which requires the systems that your application is talking to on the other end of that API. Those need to be updated to accept the new data as well. And now this change request is quite literally 10, 100 times. That's not even an exaggeration, the cost.
Exactly.
And you will not find that in the Agile Manifesto.
Yeah. And this is just a natural consequence of this expanding surface area and the expanding dependencies that come with the growing
complexity,
maturity of a product.
Yeah.
And so going back to the politics of an organization, we talked about how it's so important to be creating value, demonstrating value creation over time. And the consequence of what Richard was just describing is that your value creation over time is collapsing.
Especially to go back to the commercial versus non-commercial product, is that the reason that Agile is being adopted...
Commercial versus enterprise.
Versus non-commercial. Commercial versus enterprise project is that in a commercial app, yes, your marginal cost of a feature is growing exponentially, but so is the marginal value of a feature, because from one month to the next, you have, let's say you're an incredibly successful software company, you have 15% more users every month regardless.
Right. Very like
Yeah.
exactly. And however, if you are building an enterprise software application, your target market is essentially fixed.
Yeah.
And what's happening here is that the marginal cost of adding a new feature is growing exponentially, but the marginal value
Well, it's fixed.
is fixed
Yeah.
generally. And this is not a good place to be. And this is why we say that Agile has failed the enterprise.
Yeah, because in a commercial situation, you're like, look, this change request cost me 4,000 US dollars 3 years ago. Now it cost me $40,000, but that's okay because our revenue is
Yeah.
enormous and
Yeah.
always growing. And yeah,
Yeah. Say you're Facebook,
Yeah.
how much does it cost to, add a button somewhere?
a ton.
Yeah. And, but it's worth it to Facebook.
Yeah, because I've got 1 billion users.
Yeah. And if you are building something for your enterprise and, you say, oh, hey, we need to adapt to the new accounting standard from this year. And to do that, or even a smaller change, like, oh, we just need to make it so that, normally this order would be routed to this department, but now it needs to go to this other department. Even a simple change, adding a salutation, like, is it Mr., Mrs.,
Yeah.
to a given form. Something as trivial as that, you might go to your development team and they come back with something like, "Oh, this is
boss.
going to take weeks."
Yeah.
And you just look at them like,
And you go, why? And then they go,
This is ridiculous.
the email system, the reporting system, the approval workflows, the database, the API. And these are valid.
Yeah.
They're not trying to mess with you. And
Yeah.
you just go, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
sucks.
Yeah.
It's not good, and it runs into the economics, right? You have to be demonstrating value consistently throughout the life cycle, and
You're losing credibility at this point.